Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. Also in boxing, you can find a way to overtrain. Now, I don't know if y'all have been paying attention. Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin, right? But Jermaine Franklin has lost a considerable amount of weight. We understand he's been out there training a lot. This man shed like 25 to 30 pounds. He even has a six-pack, okay? He says a four-pack. Eddie Hearn says an eight-pack. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot right there in the sweet spot and say a six-pack. Nonetheless, he's in shape. Now, he's ready for the Anthony Joshua fight. But I'm going to tell you, when you look at them, you just see the size difference. And I'm going to tell you, we can sit here and talk about the whole David and Goliath story. We could talk about Mike Tyson fighting in the land of giants, him being about 5'10", 5'11". But Jermaine Franklin's not Mike Tyson. And what I will tell you is, when you see a fighter who's, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner. But when you see a fat fighter, right, in the heavyweight division, who is getting wins and is performing exceptionally well. A lot of times people don't focus on what they're accomplishing in the ring. They focus more on their appearance. And the more that people focus on that, the more they talk about it. And the more they talk about it, the more the word spreads out through social media outlets. And it's just a matter of time before it gets to that particular boxer. Now, when you think about, there's one person who comes to mind as a fighter who, in the heavyweight division, who was very effective, very, very effective. Went on to become the unified champion as a heavyweight, and I'm talking about Andy Ruiz. Very, very effective, just looking out of shape, but was definitely in shape, right? He let that talk get to him. You know, we understand going into the first Anthony Joshua fight, he didn't change anything. He just worked hard. He had just come off a fight, a big win, beating a guy who was probably about the same dimensions as Anthony Joshua, height-wise, arm length, everything else, right? He gets in the clips AJ, and then he just totally has, I'm going to call it a meltdown, a success meltdown. He did so good and got so much success from that fight, and financially, you know, changed his life and his family's life. He ended up having a meltdown, right? Anyway, stopped the training, started to indulge even more in all the things he never had, from materialistic things and even really, really good food. And then you take a look at him going to the second AJ fight. He was bigger. He looked extremely out of shape, and people really raked him against the coals. And I think that was good to a certain extent, to where at least it puts it on your radar, like, all right, look, the fans recognize I didn't perform to my potential. Let's ensure that doesn't happen again. However, Andy Ruiz, he made a couple mistakes in my opinion, changing trainers. Well, initially he didn't. He stayed with Reynoso. But no, he did change trainers. He went to Reynoso after the loss to Anthony Joshua. But in doing so, he was trying to lose all this muscle. He was trying to look like the heavyweight Mexican Canelo. He lost all this weight, and he got in there with Chris Arreola. Things didn't look too good for Andy Ruiz. Then you see him getting in the ring with Luis Ortiz, and he just didn't look as great as what we had grown accustomed to seeing with Andy Ruiz. Now, what I'm getting at is, with Jermaine Franklin, he is not Andy Ruiz, but he is a guy who's heavy set for the most part, strong guy, in shape, has always performed pretty good, you know, being, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner, but I say just being a little softer as far as his appearance, right? But to see that he's gone on and dropped so much weight going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, to me, that's concerning. And I just don't think it's something that was necessary. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that on the record. So this overtraining stuff, you got to get in shape. You got to be ready for whatever comes your way. And I totally agree with that 100%. But I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to this weekend and Jermaine Franklin, I honestly don't think he's going to be able to keep Anthony Joshua off of him. I don't think he's going to be able to hurt Anthony Joshua or anything. And I'm just being honest with you. I think he's made a mistake, and I'm going to show you an image of him.
I'm like them.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm just different. I'm built different.
Let me pause that. Okay, this is Jermaine Franklin right now. Look at how slim he is. Now you tell me a guy like that is going to be able to keep Anthony Joshua off of him, but also is going to be able to hurt Anthony Joshua. I just think him getting in shape is a great thing, but I think they just went overboard with the training. I think he overtrained, and I just don't think that's going to result in him getting the victory. Now, anything can happen in boxing. Jermaine Franklin is a solid B-level fighter, but I just think he and his team dropped the ball on this one by having him lose so much weight. You know, you look at guys like Butterbean, although that's not really a boxing, but his thing was being heavy-handed, he had somewhat a decent cardio. But even in the combat sport that he was doing, which is just basically like, you know, brawling and smokers and stuff like that, he didn't try to change it up. Stuck to what got him success, and he did well. Andy Ruiz, he went and changed some few things up, and he hasn't looked the same since. Okay? And there are a number of other fighters out there. You look over in the MMA world, they got a couple fighters fighting at heavyweight, man, you know, who are just big guys. You know, we can take it all the way back to when there was that guy, Tank Abbott. You know what I mean? He wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing to the eye. But, you know, they didn't change up what worked for them. They were heavy hitters. They were just tough guys who could fight. You come over to boxing, kind of similar situation. George Foreman, especially as he got older, he wasn't the kind of guy who was going to go out there looking to get cut up and everything. George Foreman still looked a little softish in the midsection, but he was a big, strong man. But he did the things that worked for him. Didn't worry about trying to overhaul anything to satisfy fans who are saying he's too old, he's too fat, and all these things. No, actually, he actually took that and did great in the ring, and actually outside the ring with the Foreman grill and saying he eats cheeseburgers and stuff like that. So when it comes to Jermaine Franklin, I think he's going to learn a hard lesson this weekend. And in addition to that, the more we talk about overtraining, I think overtraining is a good topic for us to discuss, especially with everything that's going on with Virgil Ortiz. But I think we can tie it into a conversation around Virgil Ortiz, the rhabdomyolysis, and then Andy Ruiz, this guy here, Franklin, overtraining. Some people say Anthony Joshua overtrained for Usyk in the second fight. So, you know, overtraining is just not good. It's just not healthy. I think that guy J-Rock had overtrained getting ready for a fight. There was someone else recently who had talked about Jared Hurd overtrained. There's someone else who was talking about overtraining, and overtraining backfired on them because they have been going for so long. I think Ryan Garcia is in a position where he may have been in a situation where he's going to be overtrained going to the fight with Tank. It's a lot of months of inactivity, but just training. So that being said, overtraining, in my opinion, is not good. You know, you just have to balance the rest cycle with the physical activity. You know, you got to balance the nutrition as well. Like, all of these components come together, right, to give you a very solid a deliverable, which is an athlete who can get in there and go to 12 rounds from the first second of the first round to the last second of the last round. With Jermaine Franklin, we'll see what happens this weekend. I'm letting you know right now, I'm not putting any money on Jermaine Franklin to pull off the upset. Simple. Just when I look at it, the pedigree, the experience, the natural ability, the trainers in the corner, everything. I just don't see how Franklin can pull it off, especially with Franklin. I don't know what he's going to be weighing. We got to wait and see, but I don't think Franklin's going to be, I think maybe 220. He may be coming in light, like he may pull a Deontay Wilder and come in there at 212, 214. We don't know, but what we do know is he lost a whole lot of weight. But we'll see how it goes. Jermaine Franklin's got a lot of dog in him. He's used to fighting big guys. He's used to being the shorter guy, and he's used to winning. So we'll see what happens this weekend. With that being said, good luck to Franklin. Good luck to AJ. I think Jermaine took it to the stupid right. I think Anthony Joshua wins. Simple. Nothing personal against Franklin. I think he would have lost anyway, but I just think he's lost his right to complain, especially by losing all that weight. I just think they shouldn't have dropped no damn 25, 30 pounds. I don't care what anyone says. Shouldn't have done it. And I'm sitting there trying to think, man, who else have we seen drop a whole lot of weight and get into the ring and just not look good? My brain is racing right now because I know there are boxers that, a good example, De La Hoya dropping all that damn weight for the Pacquiao fight. But it's a little bit different. You know, he was getting somewhere he shouldn't have been. He hadn't been to 147 in years. And I'm not saying it's going to be that extreme for Jermaine Franklin, but what I'm getting at is unnecessary weight loss. It just isn't good. You look at Roy Jones, you look at Antonio Tarver. Guys bubbled up to the heavyweight division. Tarver for a movie, Roy Jones to fight with John Ruiz. They melt that weight off of them, and then they're never the same. So they were never the same. So we'll see how it goes with Franklin. But at the end of the day, y'all know where I'm at. I'm in the breeze.